Hello and welcome again to DRC TV. Today I want to look at this question. Is the war in the DRC about Bantu versus the Tutsi? Bantu versus the Tutsi. This is based on the comments that I get on this channel here, and it's something that I want to talk about right here and right now. But before I do this, let me give you the context and also what I think is fueling all of this. But I will tell you exactly what my thoughts are about this war. Is this war about the Bantu versus Tutsi people? Please listen to this, and I want to hear your comments afterwards. Thank you. I understand most of us as Africans, and especially the Congo, and our way of thinking and our ways of looking at things. We as a people, and this will apply to many countries in Africa, many of us, especially in the Congo, we are mainly Christians. The country is 90% or 95% Christian country. Strong beliefs, religious people. Many of us have the mindset that has been exploited by others, I have to say. You can go back to the colonial times, to what was done to us as a people. And many know how the Bible was used in order to enslave our people. There is truth to that, but it's not the whole truth. It's half a truth. Just like I say, anything in life you can abuse if you want to. You can abuse anything in life. You can abuse eating. Eating is good, isn't it? It is good. We love to eat. But when you begin to eat too much of anything that comes your way, you begin to abuse it, it will destroy your own body and it will destroy your mind as well. And that affects your spiritual life. I'm talking about Congo, but I want to give a little context into the subject that I want to address today. I'm talking about Congo, and you will understand the implication of this. Because a lot of the things, or the comments that I'm seeing popping up, is the Tutsis versus the Bantu. Tutsis and Bantus. Tutsis and Bantus. They're fighting the war that is going on. The conflict that is going on in the eastern part of the Congo, many also have said this also has taken place in different countries. In Africa, in Uganda, for example. Okay, it's the Tutsis versus the Bantu. The Tutsis versus the Bantu. So this is why I want to unpack something here for all of us to understand the root causes of this. I'm not going to exhaust everything here because it's only a few minutes that I have here, but I want to let you know I'm going to talk about this issue of Tutsis versus Bantu and what this conflict is basically engendering and where it is going. But before I do that, this is why I want to give you a little background or concept before I talk about this. So yes, a lot of people say, yes, they've used the Bible to enslave the people. And like I said, the people have abused the Bible. I agree with that. Okay, people have agreed. The taskmaster, our colonizers, for us is Belgium. Okay, the Belgian king Leopold said to those who came to the Congo, don't go and tell them about God because they know God already. We knew God. All right, I get that, but they use the Bible. They quote the scripture here and there, and then make us to be subservient and obedience to their bidding while they did what they did. That is a subject for another day. But what I'm trying to get us to understand here is to know that as much as we are living in this physical world, as much as we are seeing the conflict where weapons, systems, and all that is being used right now in order to bring down the Congo, I want you to know it's not only the physical world that we are dealing with here. There is a war that is taking place. There is a conflict that is taking place in another dimension. And it is that dimension that is influencing what is happening here in this dimension here we call Earth, with the geographical boundaries and limitation, in this specific case, the DRC. But there are those who are at the higher place, higher plane, higher dimension that are actually influencing what is going on in the world. And specifically in our context here in the DRC. In the physical, we are seeing Paul Kagame. In the physical, we are seeing Museveni, Kaguta Museveni. And we are seeing Ruto here, the enemies of Congo. We are seeing them. This is in the physical plane. But we need to understand these people, they are not only physical, but they have a spiritual element to them. They have a spiritual dimension to them. They have a spiritual influence in them that causes them to do what they do in the DRC. And we have to look at these things while we are fighting this in the physical plane, but we also must understand the spiritual dimension to this, because it will bring things in a proper perspective. We call a holistic view of what is going on in the DRC. One thing I want to say to my viewers, those of you with whom I'm sharing this, those of you who share your ideas with me, I want us not to fall into the trap of the enemies. And I'll say this, like I said, based on the comments that I hear coming. I personally do not want us to make this a conflict between the Tutsi and the Bantu. I don't want us to look at things from that angle, from that perspective, because that kind of mindset, that kind of way of looking at things or seeing at things, though it appears good to separate things in that way based on what we are seeing, but it's not also good, because then you are giving credence, or you are helping those who wants to divide and to conquer. Those who saw this, the seeds of division to begin with, those who colonized Africa, those who colonize our nations and our countries, they wanted one thing: to divide the people, to sow seeds of animosity and superiority of one ethnic above another, and allow that seed to germinate and take roots, and then it will bring out the fruits in the fullness of time. And this is what we are now seeing. In the fullness of time, we have seen the seed that was sown by the colonizers has brought its fruit in that people started killing each other. Even though the colonizers are not there now, the imperialists, they are not there now, but yet you are still fighting this fight between yourselves. They are not there. They don't have the weapons in their hand, but they've given you an ideology that is now controlling you and is perpetuating this conflict for so many years with the loss of lives, millions. Please, my brothers and sisters, please get my point. I know that, yes, the person who's fighting, the enemies of Congo, I know who they are. You know who they are. But do you believe that everybody in their country or in their ethnic do agree with what they are doing? Yes, Kagame is a Tutsi. Yes, it may be the case for Museveni as well, and so for Ruto. But do you think everybody in Kenya, everybody in Uganda, or in Rwanda are behind what their leaders are doing? I don't think so. I'm not that naive to think every person or every Tutsi or every whatever is happy with what these guys are doing in Congo. I don't think so. There is an agenda. I know that. I know there is an agenda. But there is a way we can counter that agenda. There is a way we can stop that agenda without fueling that kind of thinking that we, the Bantu, are fighting the Tutsi. No, we shouldn't. We shouldn't. I beg you all, let's not look at things that way. Let's not look at things that way. Let's understand we are fighting an enemy that is invisible yet embodies himself in these individuals that we are dealing with. Kagame, Museveni, Ruto, and the rest. Like I said, because the majority of you are familiar with the scriptures. Let me say this. The Bible is the Bible. I believe in the Bible. You can say people have misused it, that's fine. You can say, oh, this is a white man's instrument to destroy Africa. Well, first of all, you need to understand the Bible was not from the West. It's not from the West. The white man didn't write the Bible. But let's not get into that argument. Please, I beg you for now. Let's not get into that argument. But I know the white man did use it to do a lot of bad things in Africa. Yes, I do know that. I do know that. I get that point. But that's besides the point today. I want to use the scripture to show you something. That the ideology that is destroying people in the Congo today, this is what we must fight. We are not just dealing with individuals here, but we're dealing with an idea that has infested some people, that has overcome them and conquered them. They live, they breathe, they sleep, they wake up, they eat with this venom inside of them and this evil plan. Okay, so let me, if I can, what do I do? Well, let me quote this to you. I wanted to read to you, but let me quote this to you. I believe in 2 Corinthians 10, 4. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood. For we wrestle not against flesh, though we walk in the flesh, but we do not fight according to the flesh. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against spirit. Now, this is actually Ephesians, I believe. Ephesians 6:12. We do not fight against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, and wicked spirits in high places. Look, listen to this. We do not fight, though we walk in the flesh, we do not fight a fleshly battle. Yes, we are. Yes, I know that there are in the physical. Yes, we have this fight that is going on in the eastern part of Congo. But I want you to know that there is a spiritual dimension to it. There are entities, there are spiritual wickedness that dwells in these individuals. There are wicked spirit that dwells in these individuals. The Paul Kagame, the Museveni, and Ruto, all these people that are fighting, causing wars in the eastern part of Congo, they are inhabited, they are possessed by these evil powers. This has nothing to do with the Tutsi. This has nothing to do with the Bantu. These individuals have these things in them. And it is those forces that fuels their thinking and ideas in order to annihilate a people, in order to destroy people, to take land, to grab land, and to do all the things that they are doing there. So it's not the Bantu, it's not the Tutsi. Please. And this is what we have to deal with. And this is why 2 Corinthians 10, I believe the Bible is talking about bringing every thought captive to the obedience of Christ, and every high thing that exalts itself above that knowledge of God. There are things in people that makes them exalt what they have, their ideal, their sort of vision, their utopian vision in their mind. This is what we are fighting. But we must bring those imagination. We must cast them down. We must stand against those thinking and those ideas. And the way we do it is by educating the people. And we educate the people the way we are talking here, the way we are exchanging, sharing ideas, and helping our people understand that there is an ideology out there that causes people to want to wipe out a people and to replace them. And I'm talking here about the regime that people have. I repeat myself, this is not a Bantu, it's not a Tutsi thing. But it's individuals and their system that they have in place. Not everybody in Rwanda is happy with what is happening in the DRC. Not everybody in Uganda is happy with what is happening in the DRC. Not everybody in Kenya is happy with what is happening in the DRC. No. There are those who are against them and what they are doing in the DRC. We need to know that. That is how to be out there and clear. So please, let's not fight each other. Let's not fight the Bantu. Let's not fight the Tutsi. But let's target that ideology wherever it is. You might say, but I know, I get your point. For example, in the DRC, we as a people, we need to learn to identify those who carry this venom, those who carry this idea in our structure as a country, as a nation, and get rid of such. When I say get rid, I mean, don't give them the influence that they have. I cannot tell the military how to do things. I cannot tell the government how to do things. I can only speak and let people know what I think, and you also can tell us what you think. And those who are in position of power, you know what to do. How the army has been infiltrated, how our government have been infiltrated, how every sphere of our society has been infiltrated by our enemies. And by enemies, I'm not referring to Tutsis. By enemies, I'm not referring to, because you need to understand something. Evil is evil. Whoever embodies that evil. We have situations in the Congo now. Those who are stealing and those who are looting our own country as well, they are Congolese. The situation that we have there with people, like I said, I don't want to go on a digress, but there are things that are being done, financial crimes that are being committed in that government there. They are not Tutsi that are doing it. These are Congolese. When you get the money to go and provide clean drinking water for your own people, and you decide to siphon $200 million from Bukangalon's project that's supposed to give food to your own people, is that a Tutsi doing it? Of course not. When Nicolas Kazadi, who's supposed to take money and give drinking water to the people and electricity to a village, when he takes all that money, it goes into his own bank account and does his own, is that a Tutsi doing it? Of course not. When Vital Kamerhe takes the money in their millions in order to provide what's supposed to be housing for the people there, but he puts it in his own pocket, is that the Tutsi doing it? Of course not. So I want us here to understand so what Vital Kamerhe is doing, I don't see anybody who, and I know some people will say Vital Kamerhe, his origins are also in question. But listen, we need to understand what is operating in people. Let's see beyond the mask that people wear, all these different names that people are given. Let's look beyond that. All these generals, those who actually took money and decided not to fight in Goma or Bukavu, not all of them are Tutsis. Not all of them are from Rwanda. I know they are under the tutelage of Kagame, but these are Congolese. They could say no. They didn't have to do that. They didn't have to take the money and do things the way they did. So we need to look beyond the people. All I'm saying is this, is that if people are patriotic, they love their country, they really want to do good to their country, then nothing can sway them from doing that. But let's not fall into this trap of trying to say, okay, we are blaming the Tutsi, we are blaming the Bantu, we are doing this. No, Africans, we need to learn to come together and to work together for the prosperity of our region, of our continent. It's very, very important that we look at things in that way. Amongst the Tutsi, they are bad people. Amongst the Bantu, they are bad people. Amongst the whoever you want to say, they are bad people. We need to learn how to not let the bad people influence the good people. That's what we need to do. And I'm calling on you, please, to look at things. I'm not going to impose this on you. You're free to think what you want to think, and you're free to comment and say what you want to comment, but I'm just sharing with you what I think. I'll leave it there. I will come back to talk about the coup d'etat that was to take place in the DRC this week. A failed coup d'etat. I'll talk about it. If you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. Share this link with others, and let's build this community. Let's talk, let's exchange. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.